Hello there, this is Hannibal from thehannibaltv.com, wearing one of my wonderful Hannibal hoodies that you need as we get into the colder and colder months here in Canada. Just finished an interview with United Wrestling Network / NWA pay-per-view star Chris Dickinson, who is a pretty decent wrestler. And I actually met him before, which I forgot about. But nice guy. I suggest people tune in to that interview. We covered a lot of topics. Hi, Ralph. Hi, Rodzer. I will get right into my Wrestling Observer review of the week. Hurricane Alexander's checking in, by the way. And before I get into it, we are on Twitter at Devon Hannibal and the Hannibal TV. If you DM me on Twitter, I will follow you back, and we're on Instagram at the Hannibal TV. Hello, comedian Eric. So Sting's merchandising contract with the WWE has expired. They're no longer allowed to sell any more of his merchandise. He owns the Sting name. Mattel had removed plans for a Sting action figure back in May as well. There's no real details on why they couldn't renew, just like Brock Lesnar didn't renew his merchandise contract with WWE. I already discussed this in my daily news updates, but it was in the Observer as well. A photo was released where the people that monitor the Thunderdome have instructions on who's banned from the Thunderdome and who cannot be shown on the air. Heel by Nature has been able to figure out the names that are banned, and they include AEW, Impact, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Enzo Amore, Tony Khan, Cody Rhodes, Brandy Rhodes, Marty Squirrel, the alleged guy that had sex with a 16-year-old, Young Bucks, Chris Benoit, CM Punk, Alberto El Patron for obvious reasons. He has a lot of criminal problems right now. Ryback, Ashley Mazzaro, who's dead. Superstar Billy Graham at 77. He still has enough heel heat to be banned by the Thunderdome. Vicky Guerrero, as well as the flags of Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Tibet. Meltzer believes that the Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Tibet flags are banned because WWE doesn't want to affect their partnership with China, where they still boil dogs alive before eating them because boiling them alive causes a fear adrenaline gland to release in the dogs that make them taste better to these Chinese people. So I will never go there for what they do to dogs. Meltzer mentions that Vicky Guerrero is just a minor character in AEW, doesn't know what she did to get banned. Jericho, Omega, and Moxley are not on the list. They're not banned, and we have seen Omega appear on the Thunderdome. Another guy that he doesn't know about is why Billy Graham would be banned. They just put out a toy of Billy Graham a few months ago. I know his Legends contract's expired. Billy himself doesn't know why he's banned. Punk and Ryback often are very critical of WWE. But you know what? I had like 6 times more YouTube views than Ryback last month, and I am not banned. So you know what? That's pretty good. That shows that at least they see that I'm pretty neutral. So yeah, the Hannibal TV is not banned. So feel free if any of you do get the Hannibal TV sign or anything on the Thunderdome, and you can send me evidence of that, I will send you some type of prize. Rey Mysterio says he thinks Cain Velasquez will make a comeback as I clear my throat here. But he thinks it's going to happen in AAA once the world gets back to normal, if it ever does. It's mentioned here, it's pretty clear WWE had signed Velasquez just to give Lesnar back his win. Of course, Cain had that first round knockout over him in UFC, and they gave Lesnar a quick victory in Saudi Arabia over Cain. WWE did sign him for huge money. Reportedly, Velasquez was signed for about $6 million a year, but I think he made less than a handful of appearances, and he didn't last a full year. So I hope to see Cain back. I would like to see Cain Velasquez face the Blood Hunter. That would be a good match. By the way, the Blood Hunter will be appearing for the United Wrestling Network before the end of the year, as well as the North American Wrestling Association in Daytona Beach on December 19th. Davey Boy Smith Jr. is also going to be on that show. Jimmy Hart, Chase Stevens, Gangrel. AEW did a 0.3 rating this week. NXT did a 0.14. Not many people tuning into NXT. Raw had their fifth lowest viewership in history. Fifth lowest, 0.47 on Monday. Doesn't surprise me. There's literally, what would make me watch Raw? What would make you guys watch Raw? I don't know what would make me want to watch Raw, because WWE is just such a corporate product written by however many hundreds of writers they allegedly have. And it's just crap. I don't know what would make me tune into Raw. Maybe if The Rock returned and gave a promo, I would watch that clip of it anyways. But there's nothing I can think of. Maybe if they brought the Blood Hunter on Raw, I'd watch, but I think that the Blood Hunter is far too controversial a character for WWE. SmackDown did a 0.65 rating, up from their 0.25 the previous week. Davey Boy Smith Jr., who I just mentioned, is going to be on the North American Wrestling Alliance show December 19th in Daytona. According to Meltzer, his contract expires December 18th, and he's had interest from WWE, AEW, All Japan, Impact, and MLW. Obviously, Impact and MLW and even All Japan aren't going to pay him anywhere near what WWE or AEW can pay him, and I've heard from numerous sources close to him that he will be signing with one of the quote-unquote major companies. So I wouldn't expect him to re-sign with MLW, although he did participate in their most recent tapings. So he will be on MLW, where you can watch their show, wherever you can watch it, before his contract expires. Hugo Savinovich, my good buddy, who has appeared on this channel numerous times and actually gave me condolences for the passing of my grandmother earlier this week. Thank you, Hugo. He has reported that AAA has been in talks with the Colon family, Carlito, Ipico, and I believe Orlando. Now, Orlando and Eddie, sorry. Ipico was Orlando's WWE name. Orlando and I feuded, as well as Eddie and I feuded extensively in WWC Puerto Rico. They don't talk to me anymore, probably because of all the research I've done into the Brody murder, which, of course, his father was involved with as it happened in his father's dressing room. But at one point, I was friends with him. Matt Morgan was reelected city commissioner in Longwood, Florida. Allison Kay, who I've interviewed, is no longer under NWA contract. She's a free agent. I believe she's wrestling for AEW soon, challenging the new NWA champion, who is also in AEW under contract, Serena Deb, who I hope to have on this channel soon. Jake Roberts says he's struggling with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, which is partially from smoking, and he doesn't get enough oxygen in his blood. Anyone that hasn't seen it, I do have a highly watched shoot interview with Jake Roberts on this channel, one of my most popular interviews. In UFC and fighting news, Dana White has confirmed McGregor versus Poirier will be on January 23rd. And after all this big hoopla that Khabib was going to retire, UFC is apparently still going to recognize him as the lightweight champion, since Dana White believes he is going to come back for one last fight. None of these MMA retirements seem legitimate. I mean, Conor said he was going to retire earlier this year. Henry Cejudo said he was going to retire. Now he's saying he's going to come back. GSP has said he's retiring. Then he's teased many, many times that he would come out of retirement to fight Khabib. Anderson Silva said he was retiring last Saturday, but it turns out it just might be his last UFC match. UFC and EA Sports have signed a 10-year extension. Tito Ortiz is now a Huntington Beach city councilor, another guy I've interviewed in Huntington Beach. Check that one out on this channel. Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. is going to still happen November the 28th from the Staples Center in LA with no crowd. The California State Athletic Commission okayed the fight, according to Meltzer, with the idea that it's an exhibition, sparring session, and if it appears either man is trying to hurt or knock the other one out, the exhibition will be stopped. Well, just for the record, I have been in some sparring sessions where the people have actually tried to hurt me. It happens. The head of the California State Athletic Commission is pushing that the public should not be fooled into that's a real fight. The co-main event is Jake Paul versus former NBA player Nate Robinson. Now, Jake Paul is a huge YouTube star. People like to criticize the YouTubers, but it's a very viable way to make a living these days, and it is the future. Television is not the future. Beater Car tips me $5. Thank you. I got a Tony Atlas interview tomorrow, by the way, 7:30 p.m. Saturday on this channel. I'll put it towards that. DDP is really, so far, I must say, he's either really busy, but I'm getting annoyed with dealing with him. He's agreed to do an interview, but I don't know why he can't just say, we'll do it on this day at this time. I'm being very accommodating to him. Let's hope it'll be done in the next week. Beater Carr tipped $5, says, do I think Trump will return to WWE now that he's not president anymore? From my knowledge, maybe one of you guys can correct me on this, there still has been no official ruling on if there is a new president or not. Let me look that up right now. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I'm looking it up. As of 10:45 p.m. Friday night, there has been no ruling on who the new president is, so it could very well still be Trump when this is all said and done. Will he return to WWE and appear for them again? Yes. Lunar Force says it's not official yet. So we're not going to get into politics on this. I'm Canadian. I'll get into some of your questions, though. Ivan says AAA Auto Lucha doing good. That's the drive-in lucha shows that AAA is doing. Sam said he watched 7 minutes of SmackDown's 2-hour show and regretted it. Comedian Eric, do I think Davey Boy Smith Jr. would join WWE again? I think they'll make him the best financial offer. And look at what basically AEW brought in Lance Hoyt, Jr.'s old partner in Japan, just basically had him jobbed to Cody, as they do with all the monsters they bring in. Of course, Cody holds one of the AEW titles and is also one of the bookers / executives. So at least in WWE, there's no bookers on the active roster, so we may have more of a fair chance. Big Richard says WWE selling out to China. Mike talking about Demolition and Kamala being banned from WWE Hall of Fame due to the lawsuit. I think it's more of them speaking their mind in shoot interviews and so forth. We've seen Sylvain Grenier was part of that concussions lawsuit, and they hired him back as an agent. Yes, he is close friends with Patterson, but who knows? By the way, for the people that do not like my shoot clips, I do have a second YouTube channel. If you just look up Devon Nicholson, and that YouTube channel is just my full live stream interviews. So if you don't want to deal with the clips and my news updates, subscribe to that channel. Beater Car says everyone sells out to China. I don't know. I don't follow world news. I follow regular news. Mike is missing Piper. She's sleeping right now. And she's 8 years old. She's not newborn. Couple more questions here. Tom says WWE is unwatchable. Hurricane Maverick is looking for full UFO disclosure. That will never happen, in my opinion. When I am in Arizona next month, I am going to interview someone that's very much involved in that discussion and like is regularly on the big news programs. So I'm looking forward to that. They're just going to put these videos out and put information out there and let people come to their own conclusion. And unless the only way more disclosure will happen if something like some sort of Phoenix Light type sighting happens again, and there's so many people that capture it by their cameras that it really can't be denied. Big Richard would like to see Blood Hunter on Raw. Again, he could easily beat up any WWE wrestler from what I've seen of him. So they would have not touched the Blood Hunter. Fiend versus Blood Hunter, that would be a shorter match than the 2-on-1 handicap match Blood Hunter had in the Forest of Fear, which, by the way, the second Forest of Fear match will be out sometime this weekend. Mike's talking about Primo and Epico. Our merchandise link where you can get my coffee mugs, hoodies, fanny packs, and help me out is in the description and at thehannibaltv.com. We also have a Patreon page. It's only $1.99 a month. And we post all of our shoot interviews ad-free on there. Klein wants to know, did I ever meet Stacy Colon, who is Eddie's and Carlito's sister in Puerto Rico? If I did, I don't remember it. I probably could have. But I don't know. Big Richard thinks Khabib versus GSP will happen. It's possible for sure. It seems like they both want it. I don't need. I do my own stretches. I don't do yoga really. I've done enough yoga that I know the holds that work for me. John says he's sorry for the loss of my grandmother. Thank you. Thank you for each and every person that gave me their condolences this week. I really appreciate it. It's been a very tough week for me and tough couple of months as she's been going downhill. Colonel Quayle says Piper could beat any WWE or AEW female wrestler. Kapari82 says, good job on my Billy Jack Haynes shoot interview. He's talking about the one I did for RF Video, which I just did to give Billy Jack Haynes a payday. The interviewer for that was terrible. I don't even remember his name, but he had an hour and a half with us. He only went an hour. Asked Billy Jack Haynes very few questions about his career, asked me practically nothing about my career. And by that time, Billy and I had already kind of settled our differences and was just trying to like needle us into arguing when he could have just done a good shoot interview instead. So I don't like him. I find him very arrogant, but you know what? I don't remember his name. RF has let me use some of their footage over the years, so I always have a good relationship with them. But I believe that I don't like that character that they had doing the interview. Rob would have done a better job, in my opinion. Anyways, I wish all of you a great weekend and a great night. Check out my interview with Tony Atlas tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern, and the interview I did today with Chris Dickinson. And make sure you subscribe to this channel and click get notifications so you find out when my DDP interview happens. And we do have a podcast too on iTunes, Great North Wrestling Podcast. The link is at thehannibaltv.com. I'm heading out to go run in the dark. It's a nice night out. It's going to be fun.